Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to do a deep dive into a career that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, very unique career.
It is. It is. We're
Yeah.
looking at the career of Dean Palermo.
Someone who has really made a name for himself in a lot of digital fields.
Yeah, and what's cool is we have three versions of his resume,
That's right.
spanning from 2024 to late 2024.
Plus a professional summary.
Plus a professional summary.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like we're getting these snapshots
Exactly.
of his career at different points.
Yeah, and how he presents himself in different points in time, too.
Totally. Yeah, and how he's changed and so we're going to trace how his skills and his focus evolved over time and, starting in sales, believe it or not,
Oh, wow.
going to digital production, going all the way to AI content creation.
That's right.
And it's pretty amazing to see someone who's just been able to adapt.
Right.
And I think that's a big part of what we're going to talk about.
For sure.
And why this is relevant to you listening right now is because how do you stay ahead of the curve
Right.
in your digital career
Yeah.
in this world we're living in where things are changing so rapidly?
And the timing couldn't be better.
Oh, yeah.
2024 to 2025, we've seen some of the most rapid advancements in technology.
Totally.
So to be able to use Dean's career as a bit of a case study in how to adapt
Yeah.
and thrive during times of disruption, I think it's
Ideally.
going to be really interesting.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning.
Right.
Dean began his career in sales and then moved into digital production in the early 2000s.
Okay.
And we see that transition in his earliest resume.
Interesting.
I have to admit, that's not the usual path we think of for a digital trailblazer.
Yeah, that's a great observation.
What do you think about that?
It's tempting to dismiss sales as something that is totally unrelated.
Yeah.
But I think that foundation in sales is often overlooked because it can be a fantastic training ground for things like client management and understanding what the market actually wants, which are such crucial skills in any digital field, even today.
Yeah, that's a good point. So, no matter where you are in your career,
Yeah,
sales is a good thing,
absolutely.
to have some background in.
Totally.
So then, he gets this gig at Disney,
Okay.
managing websites for major films now. That sounds like high pressure.
Absolutely. Think about it. This was right when the entertainment industry was rapidly shifting online.
Right.
Dean was right in the thick of it.
Yeah.
Managing multi-million-dollar budgets and figuring out how to bring these massive projects online.
It's, so he was basically shaping the way that people experienced movies
Yes.
beyond the theater.
Absolutely.
And what stands out to me is this early experience wasn't just a one-off.
Right.
Project management became this consistent thread throughout his career.
I did.
We see it at Disney, we see it at Audible, even at his own company. It's like he mastered this core skill
Right.
and then applied it across different industries.
Exactly. And that tells you, as someone who is navigating their own career,
Yeah.
that mastering a core set of skills like project management, in his case,
Right.
can make you valuable in a lot of different fields. You don't have to be tied to one industry.
Totally.
Dean demonstrates that beautifully.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about Audible.
All right.
This is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
We're talking $15 million budget, global teams working with partners like Harry Potter and Michelle Obama.
Wow.
Dean's resume really emphasizes the scale
Yeah.
and impact of his work there.
Yeah. Impressive names to have on your resume, but what's even more fascinating to me is that Dean's responsibilities went beyond your typical project management.
Right.
He was leading a major platform overhaul, figuring out how to streamline production timelines. The resumes highlight his focus on legal compliance, brand governance, and even something called API integrations, which, for those unfamiliar, are essentially how different software systems talk to each other.
Right.
So this suggests a very deep technical understanding,
Right.
alongside his very strong leadership skills.
So he's not just managing projects.
Exactly.
He's like really involved
He's in the weeds.
in the weeds.
Yes.
Yeah, and it seems like he thrives in that environment. It's also worth noting that while he was at Audible, he never gave up on his entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah, that's right.
Dean has been running his own company, Elettro Interactive, since 2009.
Wow. Talk about a side hustle.
Talk about a side hustle.
It definitely speaks to his drive and commitment.
And what's amazing is the evolution of Elettro.
It is.
It starts with XR projects.
Right. Extended reality.
Extended reality. Thank you for those who are just tuning in.
Yeah, yeah.
Then we see him setting up Shopify stores, creating custom content.
Mm-hmm.
Elettro reflects Dean's willingness to experiment and adapt to new opportunities.
That's right. He's not afraid to jump into a new venture and learn a whole new set of skills.
He is not afraid of a challenge.
Yeah.
And that brings us to what might be the biggest shift in Dean's career.
Okay.
His move into the world of AI.
Right.
From 2023 onward. His resumes start highlighting his role as an AI production producer,
Interesting.
a title you wouldn't have seen just a few years ago.
Right. This is a key indicator of how the industry has so rapidly adopted AI tools.
Right.
Dean isn't just using them. He's positioning himself as a leader in this space.
Right.
And his resume emphasizes his expertise in AI text graphics, music, and video creation.
And get this, he claims to have generated over 100,000 graphics, videos, and songs
Wow.
with AI.
That's impressive.
That's pretty crazy.
But it makes you wonder, do you think simply generating that much content is enough?
Yeah, what else might be important for
Yeah.
someone working in this field
Yeah, that's a great question.
of AI-driven creation?
Yeah, I think it's true that AI tools allow us to create content on a scale that we've never seen before.
Right.
But the real challenge is, how do we actually use these tools effectively? Dean's career suggests that it's not just about knowing how to use the technology,
Right.
but also about things like understanding brand governance, legal compliance, and the strategic application of AI
Right.
to reach your specific business goals.
So it's not just about being tech-savvy.
Exactly.
It's about understanding the bigger picture.
Yes, it's about having that strategic vision
Right.
for how AI can be used to create value, solve problems,
Yeah.
and ultimately drive results for your business.
Now, what's interesting to me is how Dean's resumes evolved to reflect this shift towards AI. Early on, it's all about those like traditional project management skills.
Right.
But as we move towards the later versions, there's a noticeable change.
Absolutely. He starts highlighting AI skills, brand governance. He even mentions enjoying diverse global teams.
Yeah.
This shows that he's really aware of what employers are looking for.
Yeah.
He's not just listing skills,
Yeah.
he's framing them to really match what he thinks the market needs.
It's like he's tailoring his own personal brand.
It's
Exact to stay ahead of the curve. You mentioned enjoying diverse global teams.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Do you think this is just a trend, or is this something more fundamental
Yeah.
about the future of work?
I think it's more than a trend as work becomes increasingly global
Right.
and remote. The ability to work across cultures and time zones,
Yeah.
I think, is becoming more and more important.
It's a must-have.
It is a must-have.
Yeah.
And Dean seems to have recognized this early on and has positioned himself accordingly.
So that's something for all of us to think about as we're, thinking about our careers
For sure.
and where we're going.
Yeah,
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground,
we have.
and we're just getting started.
I know, this is going to be good.
Before we dive into the specifics of his resumes,
Okay.
let's just pause and reflect on what we've learned so far.
Good idea. It's important to take a moment to process what we've observed about Dean's trajectory before we jump into all the nitty-gritty details of his resumes.
Yeah, for you listening, what aspects of Dean's journey resonate with you the most? What stands out to you as particularly relevant to your own career path? Just take a moment to consider those questions before we delve even deeper.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so are you ready to unpack these resumes?
I am.
I think you'll find them pretty revealing.
Let's see how Dean's self-presentation evolves over time.
All right, so let's start with the resume from April 2024.
Okay.
Right away, he positions himself as a senior project manager with over 20 years of experience. He really emphasizes his ability to build high-performing teams and manage those multi-million-dollar budgets that we talked about.
Right.
But there's something else that caught my eye.
What is that?
Even at this stage where AI wasn't as ubiquitous as it is now,
Right.
he's already highlighting his use of AI.
Interesting.
He mentions generating over 38,000 AI graphics in just 6 months and releasing over 300 videos.
Wow.
It's like he saw the potential of AI early on
Yeah.
and started integrating it into his workflow before it became mainstream.
It seems like Dean has a knack for spotting emerging trends
He does.
and adapting his skill set accordingly.
Right.
It's not just about following the crowd. It's about
It's about anticipating
anticipating.
where the industry is headed.
Yeah. Totally.
And notice how he subtly weaves his technical proficiency
yeah.
into his narrative.
Right.
He mentions his experience with popular software like DaVinci Resolve
Yeah.
and Photoshop, demonstrating his comfort with industry standard tools.
Right.
And then there's this little detail I found quite telling.
Okay.
He mentions having a full green screen studio in his home office.
So even back then, he was investing
Yes.
in the tools and the resources
Yeah.
that he needed to stay ahead of the game.
That's dedication.
It is. And notice how he casually mentions his near daily use of AI tools.
Exactly.
This isn't someone who's dabbling.
No.
This is someone who is deeply immersed in this world
Right.
and is constantly experimenting.
That's right.
Okay, let's move on to the November 2024 resume.
Okay.
What changes do we see here?
The title remains Senior Project Manager, but the emphasis shifts slightly.
Okay.
He's still highlighting those core project management skills, but now we see these more specialized areas coming to the forefront.
Right.
So he emphasizes brand development and execution, brand management and governance, and of course his expertise in generative AI.
Right, and he even breaks down his AI skills into specific areas,
He does.
like text-to-video producer, text-to-graphics expert,
Yeah.
custom music expert.
Yeah, it's like he's creating this portfolio of AI skills
Yes.
that are in high demand.
Yeah, he's tailoring his skill set
Yes.
to meet that growing demand.
Exactly.
And it's interesting how he weaves in those soft skills that we talked about earlier, emphasizing his ability to, enjoy diverse global teams and excel in communication.
Right, he's showing that he's not just tech savvy,
Right.
but he can also lead and collaborate effectively, which are such crucial skills in today's world.
Okay, now let's jump to the November 17th resume.
All right.
Here we see a pretty dramatic shift.
We do.
He's now positioning himself as an AI visual and audio content producer.
Interesting.
So the focus has completely shifted from project management
Yes.
to AI content creation.
This is a very strategic move.
Yeah.
He's recognizing the rise of AI as a core competency, and he's showcasing his mastery
Yeah.
of these
It's
tools.
like he's rebranding himself,
He is.
stepping into a role that didn't even exist a few years ago.
Right, right.
And he doesn't shy away from making some bold claims.
He doesn't.
He states that he's created over 100,000 graphics, videos, and songs using advanced AI tools.
Wow, that's a lot of content.
That is a staggering number.
It is.
That's like he's saying, if you need AI content,
He's your guy.
I'm your guy.
Yeah, he's demonstrating his prolific output.
Right.
And he's highlighting his comfort with working at scale, which is really important in today's digital landscape where content creation is often about volume and speed.
Yes, totally. I'm also struck by the fact that he mentions launching and scaling an online art merchandise store,
Yeah?
Stashbox.ai.
It seems like he's always got a side hustle going,
It does.
constantly experimenting and finding new ways to apply his skills.
This really speaks to his entrepreneurial mindset, doesn't it?
It does. He's not content with just working for someone else.
Right.
He's always exploring new avenues,
Yeah.
building his own ventures.
It shows a real hunger for learning and growth.
It does.
Okay, before we move on to the professional summary,
Right.
let's just take a step back and think about the overall evolution
Okay.
we're seeing in these resumes.
Yeah.
What's the key takeaway for you?
I think what's so fascinating here is that Dean isn't just passively responding to these industry changes.
Right.
He's actively shaping his career to align with the future of work. He's constantly learning, adapting, and refining his skills
Yeah.
to stay relevant and in demand.
It's like he's a masterclass in career agility.
He is.
He's showing us that it's not just about what you know.
Right.
It's about how you adapt.
It's about how you present yourself.
Yes.
And how you constantly push yourself to learn and grow.
And speaking of presentation, let's take a look at his professional summary.
Okay, excellent idea. This document gives us a more holistic view
Right.
of his career trajectory and his key strengths.
What jumps out at you?
What jumps out at you?
Well, right off the bat, it's clear that he's targeting senior level positions. He emphasizes his experience leading and producing end-to-end interactive development and marketing projects,
Yeah,
and his ability to collaborate effectively with those diverse teams we've been talking about.
right. And he doesn't just state it.
Right.
He gives very concrete examples that really showcase his expertise.
Yeah, and he highlights his experience across a range of digital platforms, including websites, social media, mobile apps, and even those immersive technologies like AR and VR.
This demonstrates his versatility
Yes.
and his ability to manage projects across all these different mediums.
It's like he's saying, I've done it all,
And I can do it for you.
and I can do it for you. And he doesn't shy away from talking about his business acumen either.
No, it doesn't.
He mentions his keen eye for business strategy and his comfort working in fast-paced and high-pressure environments.
Right, so this tells me he's not just a technical expert.
Right.
He's also a strategic thinker who knows how to get things done,
Yeah.
even when things get tough.
I agree. He's also very upfront about his experience with financial management, including managing multi-million-dollar budgets and overseeing contract negotiations.
Right, this is such a valuable skill set for any senior level position.
It is.
Because it shows that he can handle the financial aspects of
Right.
these really complex projects.
So he's painting a picture of someone who can handle the big picture,
Yeah.
the details and the money.
Exactly, and he's not afraid to showcase his accomplishments either.
Right.
He mentions Webby Award nominations and a Promax Marketing Award.
He's letting his achievements speak for themselves.
He's highlighting these achievements
Yeah.
to bolster his credibility and showcase his track record of success.
Right.
He's painting this picture of a highly skilled and experienced professional who's ready to take on those leadership roles and deliver results.
It's a subtle but very effective way to position himself
It is.
as someone who's not just competent but exceptional.
Absolutely.
We've covered a lot of ground.
A lot.
From the early days of digital production to the rise of AI
It's been a journey.
and the importance of adaptability and self-presentation. Before we wrap up with some final thoughts,
Okay.
let's give our listeners a moment to process all of this.
Absolutely. Take a moment and think about what resonates with you the most. What aspects of Dean's career journey stand out to you as particularly relevant to your own path?
All right, so welcome back. I don't know about you, but I've really enjoyed this deep dive into Dean's career.
Yeah, me too. It's been pretty fascinating to see how he's navigated, this crazy world of, all this digital stuff that's constantly changing.
It makes you think, like, what does it actually take
Yeah,
to not just survive, but to thrive in this world?
totally.
So let's get to the heart of it. Like, what can we actually learn from Dean?
Yeah, what can we take away?
What are the skills and the mindsets
Yeah.
we need to cultivate to be successful in the future of work?
Well, I think if there's one overarching theme that emerges from Dean's story, it's the importance of adaptability.
Yeah, totally.
He didn't just stay in one specific role or industry.
Right.
He started in sales, he moved to digital production, mastered project management, embraced entrepreneurship, and now he's like leading the charge in AI content creation.
It's like he's a chameleon of the digital world.
He is a chameleon.
It's amazing.
And I think that's a really powerful lesson for all of us. It's not about becoming an expert in every single new technology that comes out. It's
Yeah.
about having a willingness to learn,
Right.
having that hunger for knowledge and being able to adapt to, whatever changes are thrown your way.
Yeah, and Dean really, like, exemplifies that.
He does.
And let's not forget about the power of self-presentation.
Oh, absolutely. Dean's resumes are like a master class
They are.
in showcasing the skills and experience that are relevant.
Yes.
He doesn't just list what he's done, he frames it in a way
Right.
that aligns with what employers are actually looking for.
Right. So he's thinking about the audience
He is.
as he's crafting his resume.
Yes. And he's highlighting his unique value.
Yes.
So it's like he's marketing himself as the ideal candidate for this future of work.
That's such a good point.
And it goes beyond just the resume.
Yeah, totally.
Think about your online presence, your portfolio, the way you network, even the language you use
Yeah.
to describe your skills.
It all matters.
It all
It all adds up.
Yes, it all contributes to that image
Right.
that you're projecting to the world.
And Dean has really mastered that.
He has.
Okay, so we've got adaptability, we've got self-presentation. But what about the actual technical skills? I mean, are we all doomed if we don't become AI experts like Dean?
No, not at all.
Okay.
While AI is definitely transforming these industries,
Right.
it's not the only path to success.
Right.
I mean, remember, Dean's foundation was project management,
Right.
understanding business strategy, being a good communicator.
Yeah.
These are all valuable skills no matter what the technology landscape looks like.
So it's about building that strong foundation
Yes.
of core skills and then being open to new technology
Exactly.
and new tools as they emerge.
And always be learning.
Yes. Stay curious.
Yes.
And I love that, and then I think this is a good, final thought to leave people with.
Okay, let's hear it.
What if instead of thinking of ourselves as employees, we thought of ourselves as entrepreneurs?
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah, instead of waiting for opportunities,
Right.
what if we create our own? What if we adopt Dean's mindset
Right.
of always looking for those new ventures, experimenting with new things, building our own personal brands?
I love that because it really is about creating your own future of work.
Yeah.
not just adapting to it.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest takeaway from Dean's story.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you have it. We've gone deep into Dean's career and uncovered some valuable insights, I think,
I hope so.
about, how to stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
It was my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And for you listening, remember the future of work is full of possibilities. Embrace that lifelong learning, stay curious, and never stop exploring new horizons.
That's right.
Until next time.
Yeah.